Well, good afternoon, everybody. David Paul here in the KHOU 11 Weather Center on what is becoming a stormy afternoon in our north and west county. Heavy rain and thunder pushing into northwest Austin County, into the Brenham area in Washington County. And this is moving east at about 30 miles an hour. So we're kind of keeping our eye across the northern counties right now for more strong thunderstorms to move in as we go a little deeper into the evening. Northern Waller County, Grimes County, Montgomery County, Walker County. Right now you're just cloudy and breezy and mild, but we do expect that rain and thunder is going to push into your direction over the next couple of hours. And it's not another question that not only could you see strong thunderstorms, but you could also see severe weather. At the moment, severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Washington County includes the Brenham area, and that is where the worst of it is right now. And we're going to take a close look at this. We've already had golf ball size hail reported in the Burton area. So west of the Brenham area in Burton, we've had golf ball size hail out of this thunderstorm cell. That is a doozy, although there in the last couple of frames it looks like it's weakening a little bit, but it's still very strong. Expect maybe pea-sized hail right now just north of Brenham. There's Brenham, there's Highway 290, Sandy Hill. There's Burton, where as that storm went through, it dumped the ping pong ball size hail. And so that's really the greatest threat right now out of this is the hail. At the moment, we've not seen any type of tornadic activity out of this. However, this entire storm is what's called a supercell. It's rotating. The whole structure of it is rotating, a big counterclockwise rotation in here. So really, it's something we're watching very carefully for. When you get a rotating thunderstorm, those are the ones that can drop tornadoes with very little or no warning. And just because you're only under a thunderstorm warning here and not a tornado warning doesn't mean you can't have. Severe thunderstorms can produce tornadoes. So that's something else we're keeping our eye on, but so far have not seen. So that's where the heaviest rain is right now across Washington County. Brenham getting some of the worst of it right now. Probably some pea-sized hail. Highway 105 at 290 in Brenham as you go north of 290. Between Brenham and Gay Hill, that's where the heaviest rain and thunderstorm activity with that is right now. This is another product that we use called vertically integrated liquid. This is a product that helps us look to see how far through the vertical column the storm is reaching. It measures the moisture through the vertical column of the atmosphere. So when you start seeing these little peaks like this on this product, vertically integrated liquid, it gives us a good idea that we've got hail coming down. And so right in here, right there, this is how the hail core has moved from west to east at about 30 miles an hour. Watch as it dipped right near the Burton area right there and just blew up into that big dark purple blob. That is where we saw some of the strongest hail. Again, that's the greatest hail report we've had is Burton. About 45 minutes ago, right there, right when the storm was sitting just north of Burton, this is where we had that ping pong ball sized hail reported. Again, we'll put this in motion. I'll bring you up to the present. And that hail core, it's weakened. Notice how bright it is here. That's when you've got ping pong ball size hail just north of Burton. And then as we bring you up to the present, it's still producing some very heavy rain and probably some pea-sized hail here, but it's weakened a little bit. Good. But north of Brenham, Highway 36, Highway 105 north of Brenham, Sandy Hill to Gay Hill, that's where you've got the hail threat and the heaviest rain threat right now. This is the radar attempting to estimate how large the hailstones are right now, and it has shrunk in its intensity. Now we've got the dark gray and just a little bit of that green color in there, so maybe somewhere between nickel and quarter size hail reported north side of Brenham from 290 up 36, still south of Gay Hill, but that's where we have our hail shaft, our hail core. We can back that up. This is what it looked like as it came through and was exiting Burton. So you can see how the hail core looked about 30 minutes ago at FM 390, and then we'll bring you up to the present, and it has weakened. Good. All signs that this particular cell, at least for the moment, is having a little bit of a downward weakening process right now. Doesn't mean it can't crank back up. Again, the whole thing is rotating and kind of feeding on all the energy that's sitting up here in the atmosphere. But right now it is going through a little bit of a weakening phase. So and there it just updated. Now we're just looking at nickel to marble to pea size hail, really pea to marble size hail at best now in the Brenham area. So that is good. I'm very encouraged to see that. Here's a little closer view of where the hail is right now. There you are, Brenham. So Highway 36 north, there's 290 coming in, there's Highway 105 and Highway 36. So right there in Brenham, you're getting some pea-sized hail as that moves on through. And you're really getting the worst of it right now, Brenham. That's the heavy thunderstorm right there for you. All right, there we go. Let's update the storm track. So the whole thing is moving east-northeast at about 30 miles an hour. So who's in the path of the thunderstorm? If it holds together, Chapel Hill by 319, Washington by 337, Whitehall by 355, Yarborough by 359. So again, there it is moving to the east across Washington County. It's going to try to get into northern Waller and western Montgomery and western Walker County if it can hold together. But it is going through a weakening phase. So Early Wine, Daniels, Chapel Hill, you're all in the immediate path of this strong thunderstorm. But again, it looks like at the moment, at the worst, it's putting down pea-size hail. Big picture zooming back out. So there's the yellow box. That's the severe thunderstorm warning for Washington County and the Brenham area. One thing you may notice, there's another storm right behind it. Right there. Let's take a look at that guy. That is new. The atmosphere very unstable and able to support another thunderstorm right behind it. So there are two storms up here. Yeah, so there are two of them that we're looking at. Here we go. Here's where the radar is right now, with Brenham getting heavy rain and thunderstorm and small hail. And then here is redevelopment back behind it, just west of Carmine. So this one is also heading to the east at about 30 miles an hour. So you may get round two, Burton and Brenham, as that moves east behind the initial storm. So that's something else we're watching. When you get these storms that are rotating like this, they can feed on energy and this can just kind of keep going, and it helps them to sustain themselves for a long period of time. So for the moment, the worst of the thunderstorm activity in Washington County. I do want to show you this though. There's more activity. Down to the south and west, look at the rain and thunder coming up out of Matagorda Bay, now lifting into our southwest counties. So this is going to get you guys stormy down here over the next hour as this lifts north. There's Victoria, Palacios, El Campo. It's all moving now in your direction. So more moisture is coming up off the Gulf of Mexico. There's a little bit of a warm front lifting north, notorious for producing heavy rain. You get warm fronts lifting into an atmosphere like this. Sometimes you'll get rotation on these storms as well. So this is something we're paying close attention to as well, coming in from the south and west. I don't see any hail with that, but I do have a storm track on this. So if that holds together, you know, it's going to reach Blessing by 340, Bay City by 406, El Campo by 427. So that's for these thunderstorms coming up out of Matagorda Bay through Port Comfort right now, drifting north and east at about 30 miles an hour as well. All right, so what does Future Track say about all of this? Well, it has things kind of settling down. I don't know if this model has initiated just as good as we wanted it to, but here we are now. It's picked up on the thunderstorm to the south and west. It's not picking up on the thunderstorms that are coming through Washington County. Computer models are not perfect. Sometimes we just have to kind of go moment to moment and work with what we've got. But in general, the models keep it a chance for rain and thunder through about 7, and by 8:30, they settle things down. We'll see how that plays out. As we go forward in time, overnight quiet, but by 8, 9 o'clock tomorrow, another round of strong thunderstorms forecast to come in from the north and west. We're concerned about these. Again, a severe weather threat and a heavy rain threat as these storms come in and make a beeline for the Houston, Southeast Texas area for the middle of the morning tomorrow. That's 9 a.m. on Tuesday. And they race across the area by 1 o'clock. Here they are. I say race, moving slow enough to perhaps cause a lot of street ponding and street flooding tomorrow in spots. So tomorrow looks like a very wet day, especially from lunchtime on across all of Southeast Texas, maybe a little bit heavier northeast, Conroe, Cleveland to Livingston. We go into 5:30, that system pushes east, but by that time it's going to have dumped a lot of rain, maybe a couple of inches of rain in spots. And again, that street ponding, street flooding, and the threat for severe weather tomorrow as well. We could tomorrow see isolated large hail, very heavy rain, straight line wind damage. We could see an isolated tornado tomorrow as well. All of those severe weather threats will be in play as we head into tomorrow, as they are this afternoon. Then we go into Wednesday. Wednesday morning, more development. This may be sending a pretty good slug of rain and thunder along our coastal counties. Watch, that's 6 in the morning, and then there goes that thunderstorm racing into southwest Louisiana by noon. But by noon on Wednesday now, redevelopment. So we're looking at 2-3 days here where we're going to get a good chance for having around 1 or 2 or 3 rounds of rain and thunderstorms. Maybe you won't get hit by each round, but you're going to get hit by one of them probably at some point between now and Wednesday. This is Wednesday, 2:30 in the afternoon. So if we do get heavy rain on Tuesday and then more heavy rain in pockets on Wednesday, that could exaggerate the flooding threat going into Wednesday. This is Wednesday, 5:30 in the afternoon. See what I mean? More rain and thunder as this springtime active weather pattern reestablishes itself this afternoon through Tuesday and through to Wednesday as well. Rain totals, let's see, that goes through, this goes through Tuesday night. And in pockets, we could see 4 to 5 inches in some places. Now, when the models put down a target like that across the Conroe area, remember the models are not perfect. We could easily see a bullseye of 3, 4, 5 inches of rain right across Harris County. It could be across the coastal counties. What this is saying that is in southeast Texas, somewhere in southeast Texas, there is a good chance we're going to see at least some spots that see 4 to 5 inches of rain. And where that comes down, we're going to see that street ponding, the street flooding. The drainage ditches are going to fill up, and it is going to exacerbate your travel trouble as you try to get around this afternoon, Tuesday night, and more rain on Wednesday. That's just through Tuesday. We get more rain on Wednesday, and you can see why we're a little bit more concerned about a flooding threat as we head toward the next couple of days. As we look at the extended forecast, weather impact alert tomorrow, because the severe threat tomorrow I think is the highest of the 3 of today, tomorrow and Wednesday. Severe threat Tuesday. We could see an isolated tornado, straight line wind damage, large hail with the thunderstorms coming in mid-morning through mid-afternoon. So that's the weather impact alert day on Tuesday. Wednesday is still let up because the rain coverage continues, and by that time on saturated ground, we could begin to see at least some isolated, more severe flooding threats. So something we're watching really are all forms of severe weather are in play. One good thing, once we're done with that, weather improves and we get another one of these weekends this coming Saturday and Sunday with cool mornings and comfortable afternoons, low humidity and highs near 80. So that is the silver lining on all of this. But we got to get through a couple of days of heavy rain. Let me just reset real quick. I'll show you what the radar looks like. Again, severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for Washington County, the Brenham area. It's really hail and heavy rain that is the greatest threat. Here's the big picture. There's where the strongest thunderstorms are. Not only are you getting one in Washington County now, but another storm right behind it, right there, is about to move in to western Washington County. So Washington County, you're going to see high water in some low-lying spots here in many places there over the next couple of hours. Be very careful traveling across Washington County. Burton, you're about to get another strong thunderstorm coming in after you have given us reports of ping pong ball size hail about 40 minutes ago. Brenham, it got you to about pea size hail. I do want to take a look at the hail situation in the Brenham area. Looks like that storm is fired back up again. Yeah, it's still producing a pretty good peak there on the vertically integrated liquid, again suggesting very heavy rain and the likelihood of at least some hail in here. Yeah, it's pulsing back up again. That is pulsing back up again. So this is where we've got our hail threat, right here between Brenham and Sandy Hill. This is heading right toward Earlywine. Again, if you are in Washington County, you need to take cover from this storm, not only from the lightning and thunder, but this is producing large hail, potentially up to ping pong ball size, because we've seen that in Burton, so we know it can do that. Make sure, if you can, get your car or anything that can be damaged by hail under cover. If you're still out ahead of the storm, if you've got a moment to do it, if it's already on you, stay inside, because ping pong ball sized hail can hurt you bad. That can cause bodily harm. There's the big picture once again. So this is where we stand right now. It's 3:15. We're going to continue to watch this. If we get a tornado warning, we're going to break into programming across all platforms here on Plus, on the TV side, and all our other social media platforms. You can just leave it on Plus, or at 4 o'clock, we're also live with 11 News at 4. We'll have a complete update on where the bad weather is, where it's heading. Again, that's coming up in 45 minutes on the TV side and on KHOU 11 Plus at 4 o'clock. We'll see you then.